What's up guys, Tony Watson from ProTrainBB.com, and today I got 5 ways to help you dominate tryouts. So let's get into it. Alright, so today's Pro Talk is about the 5 ways to help you dominate tryouts, and I'm bringing to you this now early, way before trials, because there's a couple strategies that you need to have already started or need to start today to help you have a great tryout and make sure that you make the cut. Now, before we get into those top 5 ways, I want to make sure you get our 2 free workouts that we're giving to every player around the world. All you gotta do is click the link in the top right-hand corner of this video, provide us with your email address, and we'll shoot those right to you so that you can start training with us. But now, let's get into the 5 ways. Alright, so the first thing you gotta do is take care of your schoolwork. I know a lot of guys don't want to hear that, but it's very important that you have good grades going into this season so that your coach knows that you're not a problem. So my guys who are taking care of business in the classroom, keep it up. For my other guys who are struggling, you gotta pick it up, alright? If you're on the fence on making the team or getting cut, and that other guy who the coach is considering has good grades and you're struggling, he's gonna go with the guy with the good grades. So you gotta pick those grades up, pick your average up, because what it tells the coach about your character is that you're willing to do the extra work, you're willing to do the homework, you're paying attention in class, and he knows when it comes to the court, you're gonna do those same things. You're gonna study your scouting report, you're gonna know the plays, you're gonna know the matchups that you need to keep your eye on, and so that will help your team. And your classwork is a direct reflection on what kind of teammate and player that you are. All right, number 2, you gotta introduce yourself to the coach. If you're watching this video, I'm imagining that you either got cut from the team last year or you're new to the school, whether you're incoming or you're transferring, but you gotta introduce yourself to the coach. There's nothing like a guy who introduces himself to the coach, shakes his hand, looks him in the eye and say, "Hey coach, my name's Tony and I'm trying out for your team this season." That will go a long way with that coach, and he already knows who you are going into the tryouts. During that introduction too, you should also ask your coach if they're doing any preseason conditioning or open gyms after school or before school. And if they are, you have to be at all of those functions, all of those workouts. Even if you don't like running, you gotta be at all the team preseason conditioning. Even if you don't think you're gonna do well in the 5-on-5 runs and they're doing open gym, you have to be there. Always being around the team, always being in the coach's eye, gives him an extra look at you, and it shows your level of dedication. All right, number 3, and probably the most important one, is that you gotta start training today. If you haven't started training for tryouts or preparing for the basketball season, you're already far behind. There's a lot of guys who started preparing for this basketball season after last basketball season ended. So if you haven't started training, make sure that you're in the gym every single day working on your game. Now there's a couple things that you need to do in your training that'll help you get ready for those tryouts. First and foremost, you gotta get in shape. You gotta do some extra running, you gotta do some sprints, you gotta get your body on a level where that it can play basketball for a long period of time. I know when I was in high school, my high school coach actually made the first practice all conditioning, the tryout, all conditioning, and he tried to run some guys out of tryouts so that he didn't even have to cut them, they cut themselves. All right, so make sure you get in shape. Also make sure you hit the weight room, all right? Basketball is a very physical sport and it's a long season as well, and you don't want your body breaking down. So make sure you get a nice workout regimen where that you can put on some muscle, you can get a little bit stronger, work on your core, work on your legs, work on all those parts of your bodies that's gonna make you become a better basketball player. And obviously the most important one out of those 3 is to make sure you're working on your basketball skills, your ball handling, your shooting, your finishing. All those things you have to do to make sure that you show your coach that you're a well-rounded basketball player and can do all the things that he's going to require for you to do during the season. Now, if you're struggling in any one of those areas, ball handling, shooting, finishing, we have workout programs for you. All you have to do, click the link up here. We'll have a link to our workouts and to all the skills that you need, whether it's training at home working on your jump shot, working on your finishing. We have set programs that you can start today that will last all the way up to tryouts so that you're ready to take over and dominate during that day or the 2 days or that week of tryouts. So make sure that you get a workout program that's just for you. Now, like I said, basketball season is very long and it's very physical. There's a lot of bumping, there's a lot of shoving, there's a lot of running, and your body tends to break down. All right, so leading into those tryouts, not just the day before, but the weeks that you're preparing in your training, you gotta make sure that you're getting enough sleep. You gotta make sure you're hydrating every single day, you're drinking too much water, and you gotta make sure that you're putting the right kind of foods in your body. All right, you don't have leeway to be going to McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's and eating all this fast food. You gotta be eating good food, chicken, broccoli, pasta, anything that's green, salads, fruits. Those are the kind of things that you gotta be putting in your body because that's the fuel that your body's gonna use in order to provide you with the strength that you need during tryouts or with the fuel that you need during the trials. So make sure you're going to bed, getting at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep, you're drinking a lot of water, and you're putting the right type of food in your body. Also, make sure you're stretching. You gotta, after long, hard workouts, you gotta get a good stretch in. At the beginning of a workout, you gotta get a good stretch in as well because you gotta make sure your body's loose. And after, like I said, get a good stretch to make sure your body recovers and it stays loose throughout the day as you go through the night so that you're ready for tomorrow to dominate that day in your training and get ready for tryouts. All right, so this is the most important one that I need every one of our viewers to understand. All right, going into the day of the tryouts is not the day for you to start doing what you think the coach wants you to do, okay? Your coach has a set roster that he's trying to fill, whether it be point guards, shooting guards, small forwards, power forwards, and centers, all right? The day of the trials, you want to go into the tryout knowing your position and your strengths and your weaknesses. So if you're a 2 guard, don't try to be a 1 in tryouts. If you're a 2 guard, don't try to be a power forward or a center in tryouts just because you think that's what the coach needs. You got to go into the tryout, play your game, do what you do on a regular basis, because if you don't and you try to do stuff that you're not accustomed to doing, it's only going to set you up for failure. Here's an example. If you're a finisher at the basket, you're a great finisher with your weak hand, your strong hand, floaters, Euro steps, spin move. You do all that kind of stuff very well. That's what you gotta do in tryouts. But if you go in there and you try to start shooting shots off the dribble, you start trying to shoot threes in transition, you start trying to do step backs and pull backs and different kind of moves just to get up some kind of jump shot that you're not accustomed to doing, you're gonna miss those shots. You might even shoot a few air balls and you're not gonna look good at all during that day of tryouts and you may not even have the luxury of getting to the second cut or the third cut later on in the week. So make sure you go into that tryouts, know your game, and play your game the entire length of the tryout. If you like this video, please get the thumbs up below, and in the comments, let us know what other kind of pro talks you guys would like to hear, and we'll be sure to bring those to you. And if you missed last week's video, make sure you check that out right here and come back next Monday. We're gonna have a new video for you guys. Until then, perfect your game. Peace.